Good morning and welcome to the show. This is In Touch, your weekly half-hour public affairs show. I am Beth Christie, your hostess, and at the end of the show today, I will give you all of my contact information so that if you are a nonprofit group or organization here in the Hudson Valley and you want to talk about what is important to you, the issues that are of concern to you, we want to have you on the show. If you are a company, you're a business here in the Hudson Valley, and you are helping out a nonprofit group organization, and there are issues that are important to you as well, we want to make sure that you have a voice and that you'll be on the show. So we'll give you all that at the end. So let me turn on the microphone. And she is back, which is cool. Christina Borick is the executive director of Rebuilding Together Dutchess County. I did say your last name right, Borick.
You got it correct.
I did, right? Oh,
thank you.
All of a sudden I went, wait, did I double check
Boric,
that?
like boric acid.
That's what I always, I'm like,
Right.
no, I got it. So Christina's here, and she has been here. I love this year, the fact that you have been on, because there's so much going on.
Yes.
So we just have to keep this up because there's so much going on with Rebuilding Together. So many people's lives that you touch, that you improve.
Yes.
Families, communities. You know, when I do the intro and I talk about issues that are of concern, things that you're paying attention to, you know, where someone lives and how they live, to me is like a baseline for everything. So it's great that you're here.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for
we
having
have
me.
an awful lot to talk about. So let's, though, start with, just in case folks are like, Rebuilding Together, Dutchess County,
that?
what is that? So let's just kind of
Sure.
bring everybody up to speed.
Sure. Well, Rebuilding Together provides no-cost home repairs to qualified homeowners in order to provide them with a warm, safe, dry, and independent living environment. And what's interesting to note is for every dollar that's contributed to our organization, we can provide $4 worth of service to our homeowners. So we really stretch that, and we're able to do that because of the wonderful support of our volunteers as well as those individuals that sponsor us through a financial means. In addition to wonderful contractors, we call them our toolbox heroes, that dedicate their time and service to come out on our projects. It's Rebuilding Together's belief that every homeowner should have the opportunity to live in a safe home in our community, a safe and healthy home. So we work every day to do that. We've completed 19 projects throughout Dutchess County so far this year. And most recently, this past weekend, we did 6 projects on what we call our Fall Rebuilding Day, which is aligned with a national day of service. It's called Make a Difference Day. Millions of Americans come out to volunteer on that day for Rebuilding Together. As I mentioned, we did 6 projects here in Dutchess County this past Saturday. We had over 100 volunteers come out on our projects.
Nice.
So the work that we did that day, I would say, not all the final numbers are in yet, but I'm estimating at least $150,000 worth of market value back into those homes for those 6 homeowners and their families. Quite a difference. You know, people are really struggling to maintain their home. They've deferred maintenance on their home for so long because they're having to make choices between, do I fix the roof or do I buy my groceries this week, or do I pay my heating bill, or do I buy my medication? And so these are people who are really struggling and just know that their house needs these things, but at the end of the day, often they're coming up short. And so it's next week, it's next year. And so luckily we're here to really kind of bridge that gap for them and provide these critical home repairs and accessibility modifications that they need in order to stay in their home and live there for as long as they'd like to. And we often have talked about this, Beth, when I come on the show, about how important it is for individuals to be able to stay in their home and stay in their community that they love and have grown, have raised their children in. They have their church in their community. They have their neighbors that they rely on. And so it's so important to be able to bridge that gap and allow individuals to remain in their home.
You know what's amazing, and it strikes me, and I want to say this should not happen in the United States.
No, it shouldn't.
We should not have people who are making these choices between medicine, a safe home, food, a safe home. But it does, and it happens, and it happens more often than anybody thinks. And I think that is not only talking about the great works that you guys do, but also to educate our community here in the Hudson Valley that does happen, but it doesn't have to be accepted.
Right.
And that's the difference.
That's the difference. There's 5.2 million homeowners in America that are living in physically inadequate homes. 5.2 million Americans. And we can drill that down what it means in Dutchess County, but just from a large scope, that's just those are homes that are threatening their well-being.
Yes.
They're physically inadequate for them. We get back to all of these things. The leaky roof can eventually cause mold in the home, that can cause health issues, that it just starts to snowball.
Yeah.
And so, that's what the work that we do here in Dutchess County and our affiliate network throughout the country, right? So we are 187 affiliates throughout the country that are doing this work in other communities as well. And so it's not, all the work that we do, all of the funding we receive through Rebuilding Together Dutchess County stays here in Dutchess County. But that effort is replicated throughout the country,
right.
Which is, so nice to know that we're part of this bigger movement as well, that we're not only having an impact here in our own backyards for our neighbors in need, but there are other Rebuilding Together affiliates that are doing that throughout the country.
And you guys also, I would assume, share ideas.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Talk
really
about
is.
it because somebody that may possibly in Wyoming have said, look, this is really, look at what this did. We were able to do. And maybe you can go, okay, I get it.
Right.
Like you did that on social media. I mean, look how you handled that.
Right.
Look how you did that.
Exactly.
So there's a sharing of information so that everybody benefits.
I have my other executive directors that I have them on speed dial, so we reach out to them often. And we have a national office that gives us support as well and really advocates for us on a national level. And so they're supporting us in our efforts as well. So it's really nice. We have a national conference that I attend annually that really allows us to kind of get together and share those ideas and take that back to our own affiliate and really improve how we do things so that we can serve more individuals. Ultimately, that's our goal. So this year we did 19. In the next 3 years, we'd like to raise that number up to 35. And it doesn't sound like a lot when you look at, some other organizations and how many people they serve, but we really take a whole house approach to the work that we do. And so we look at all of those items to bring the house back to a warm, safe, dry, and independent living environment while we're there. So each house on average, we're investing about $20,000 into that home.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if you own a home, I own a home, many, many people own a home. If the furnace goes, which ours did 2 weeks before Christmas last year, and you pay to put that in, that's almost $5,000.
Right? Easily.
Easy. No problem. Electricity. We needed to, the house was built in the 50s, not designed to handle the load that is happening. We had an issue with the hot wire. We updated to a whole new control panel so that our home, we were taking steps to have it be safe. That was almost $4,000.
Yep.
Now, none of these were happening in the same year because you got to pick and choose.
Right.
So we're looking at some point, we need a new roof. We know that. So we're trying to be like, okay, so how do we budget and let's plan that out. And so if you think about it, the fact that you guys are going in, like you said, a whole house approach, there could be wiring issues. There could be mold issues because the roof is leaking and maybe now that's impacting the wiring. Maybe that's impacting the wall. Maybe the foundation has shifted. What does that do? Maybe there's a chimney. Maybe there's plumbing issues. If you look at it in your own home of how much just even one project is, and like you said, you do the whole house approach, saying that you'd be able to do 35 homes in a year is a great thing.
Yeah, well, we have some funding to raise in order to get to that goal.
But that would be a great. That's a lot.
But what gets measured gets done. And so we really put a stake in the ground with our board to say, this is where we want to go. There's a need in this county. We look at, the federal government often looks at what a homeowner is burdened to as far as their household expense. And if their household expense is more than 30% of their overall income, then they're considered cost burden from their home. More than a third of Dutchess County residents are considered cost burdened.
Wow.
So we know there's a need here in our county, and we want to be here as a resource for our neighbors in need. And so we're saying this is our commitment. What we need is those that need our help to reach out to us and ask for it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so thankful that you have us on your show so that we can really talk about the services we provide, and that we've been here in Dutchess County for 23 years. We have a great track record of being able to provide these services to homeowners in need. We've served over 430 homeowners, add on the 19 we did this year. Right. So we've done this, and we're here to help those people that need us. And we do have this big rebuilding days, our 2 rebuilding days in April and October. And those tend to be our larger scale projects that require a big team. But we do have a handyman program throughout the year as well. So if you need just one of those things we're talking about,
Right.
maybe you need a grab bar or a handrail to be safe in your home and be able to live independently. Maybe you just need a wheelchair ramp. Maybe you just have, one plumbing leak or something like that.
Right.
Don't get scared away that your needs are too small for what Rebuilding Together can provide for you. So the handyman program, we launched that this year to really be able to serve those homeowners that just have the one or two things. But you know what? We can come in, we can have a great impact on their lives, and then they'll be set for a while.
And it doesn't snowball.
Right.
It
Exactly.
stops the snowballing effect.
Exactly.
Because we all know that.
Right.
I don't think there's anybody in my circle of friends that is not living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
That is not like, okay, I can budget this out, but if the car goes, then, I got to figure this out and I got to balance it out. And to have this program, to not wait till it becomes big,
Right.
that there is help for it. I remember a couple of times before when you were on the program, we talked about the fact that people who need the help don't ask for it.
Right. We struggle with that.
Because they're like, oh, I'm sure someone else has it worse than me.
That's always.
But that's not a comparison. Like if you need help, you need help.
Right. Exactly.
And here it is. Like, I just want to tell people, please pick up the phone and call, because you are allowed to live in a warm, safe home. You do not have to make do, because there's people here that can help you.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why this year we created a year-round application process, and we tried to simplify our application process so that we don't have to require a lot of documentation up front. And if you apply and are qualified, when we come and meet with you in your home, that's when we can talk about some additional things that you may need to provide. But we've tried to simplify it up front so that it's easier for people to take that first step to say, okay, I'm going to ask. So one of the homeowners we helped on Saturday, she told me she had the application 3 years before she applied. Every year she would call and ask for ask for the application. And after the 3rd year, she said, I really need to just do this. We like to talk to our homeowners and have them be the advocates for us. That's one of the reasons why we invite media to our programs and our projects. Because if an individual that needs help can hear from a homeowner that we've helped,
Right.
their experience,
Right.
that hopefully will comfort them to know, okay, I can do this too.
Yeah.
I can do this too.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing too that it does, and you talk about, there is value, which is an understatement, of someone being able to stay in their home, to be able to stay in their community. And when you mentioned that you help homeowners as well as their families, if anyone is helping to take care of a parent or a relative that maybe has fallen on hard times or has some mobility issues, that the house no longer works for them,
Right.
Disabilities, whatever it may be,
Aging in place.
Exactly. As a family, you worry. And to have this program that your parents, grandparents, relatives can be taken care of and they're safe, that you don't have to worry about getting that phone call that someone has tripped over something that everyone knows. And on a good day, they're going to step over it, but we're all human.
Right.
We all have bad days. That relieves the pressure, that relieves the stress. To me, that allows you to it improves a quality of life. You can live your life and not be so scared and worried all the time.
Well, and I have to give a shout out to our Dutchess County Office for the Aging, because they recognize exactly what you're talking about the burden for the caregiver worrying about the individual that you love, whether it's a child, a neighbor, whomever is checking in on typically this elderly individual to make sure that they're safe. We do receive funding from the county specifically for when that caregiver situation is in that there's a need. Yeah. So they recognize that, and just like you said, you're living at home. We did a project this Saturday for an elderly homeowner who was the original owner of her home and had the original carpet in her home. And carpet wears. It starts to, sag and it starts to buckle. And that is a real tripping hazard for an elderly homeowner, and good days, bad days, for even us, for a younger person, that's a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And so we were able through one of our teams to pull all of that up, and actually she's getting laminate flooring this week.
Cool.
So she's getting all set. Yeah. So she can be safe in her home, and she's thrilled. We're so excited to be able to do that. That actually was helped through one that you mentioned before we went on the air. We've been getting some grant announcements. That was Home Depot Foundation helped to support that.
That's beautiful.
Yep. She's her husband was a veteran. And so we requested funding specifically to help veterans and their families. And that's one of the projects that benefited from that. The other one is actually happening. We started work on Saturday, but finishing this week. Work was done by the volunteer team this weekend, and then we're doing siding her entire house. Her siding was just falling off of her house. Energy efficiency, water can get in. You can name the amount of things that could be happening with that home. So we're happy to be able to do those two projects through their support. And we're really excited to have our Operation Remodel partnership with Town Square Media as well, which we're reaching out to veterans in our community, veterans' families, to really make them aware of the services that we provide. Oftentimes they are struggling to maintain their home. We talked about accessibility modifications in homes.
Yeah.
A lot of times our veterans have a need for that as well. And so we just want to raise awareness about that. And so we're so happy to partner with NNS Supply and Town Square Media in order to raise awareness about that. Not to be said that we serve all of our income qualified Dutchess County homeowners, but we do give preference in our selection process to elderly, disabled individuals, veterans and their families, and families with school-aged children. And so that is one of our focus areas, and we're really excited to partner with you and raise awareness about that.
I think it's very cool. So just so folks know, you're listening to this program on different radio stations this morning. Go to that station's website, and there's a link there to be able to go to let us know about your situation or a veteran a family that you know of that needs some help. Because just like with the general population, you have veterans who are elderly, and that age is becoming an issue. You unfortunately also have veterans that are coming back that now may have mobility issues, which breaks my heart, and it's hard to say, but it happens. You could have veterans where they have small children, they're trying to keep up, they've been deployed, they're not having the same salary.
Exactly.
Things have been let go. So please
they're
go
not there
to they're not there to help. Exactly. And we want to take care of the families of the veterans. We want to take care of every family ever, like anywhere. But when we're talking about this particular project, one of the many that you guys do, Operation Remodel, just go to the website of the station that you're listening to, and this is going to be for next year. So I don't want anyone to think, I can't do it. We have Christmas. I can't. It's too much. It's not this year.
You're applying for next year.
That's exactly right. So please go and do that. And NS Supply, Wayne is just...
Oh, they're wonderful. And Christine
Loyas.
Yes. Now I have to remember her married name, is on our board. Great. And she's phenomenal.
They're great people.
They're such wonderful supporters of ours.
So that's something that you guys have coming up that people can go to.
We're excited about that.
So when we talked earlier about the fact that this year you helped out 19 homeowners and next year you want to do 35, and we talked about the cost of what all that may mean. And while, yes, you guys are writing grants until I think the wee hours and burning the midnight oil, it'd be nice as a community if you're like me that no one should ever give you a power tool ever. Never, ever let Beth have a power tool, but you want to help out. There's some things coming up, and there's one night in particular as a community that we could come, spend some money, have a good night, and the money goes to benefit.
Yes, the Big Laugh. We are so excited about this. This is our 8th annual comedy night. It's November 6th at the Grandview in Poughkeepsie. It starts at 5:30 in the p.m. It's $40, and that includes a cocktail reception, an hour cocktail reception before the show, food, beer, wine included in that. And then we go into the big ballroom, and we have 3 comedians that are going to make you laugh that evening. We have Rick Schultes from Mayhem and Madness Comedy Tour. We have Dan McRitchie, who is on Last Comic Standing and is also known for his appearances on The Gong Show. And then our headliner is Mike Gaffney, who was actually a finalist on The Last Comic Standing.
Oh, cool.
And is known through his work with Gotham Comedy as well. So we're really excited to have all 3 of them come out to Dutchess County and help us with this fundraiser. We do 2 major fundraisers a year. Our comedy event, which is now in November, and we have a golf tournament in May, and that's always the Thursday before Memorial Day. So next year it'll be May 21st. But that's it. So really we rely on those 2 events.
Wow.
As you mentioned before, grants are wonderful sponsors of our programs that come out and do projects with us. Certainly cannot list them all today, but you can go to our website to see those individuals that are supporting us. And then just through individual donations, we rely heavily on that. So you can go to our website, rebuildingtogetherdutchess.org, if you would like to make a donation. If you can't come to our comedy event, but you'd still like to support the work that we're doing here in Dutchess County, certainly go to our website, rebuildingtogetherdutchess.org. And right on the homepage, there's a button you can click for donate.
Which is very cool. And I say this, and everyone knows what I'm going to say. You don't have to donate $100. No. If you think about it, if every person listening gave $5, even $1,
right,
of all the stations, that's
a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
We'd be doing 35 projects easily then, huh?
Exactly.
Right.
And so that's what I think, because I do feel that sometimes people go, well, I don't have a ton of money, but it doesn't need a ton of money. It just needs a lot of people.
Right. Every home we go into, we check to make sure they have GFIs. We talked earlier about safety with electricity. That's a requirement in your bathrooms and your kitchens. We do that in every single home. $10, buy one of those. We put smoke and carbon monoxide detectors in every home. Talk about safety again. So many homes we go into do not have functioning smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. It's crazy.
Yeah.
$25, $30, we'll buy those items for us. So so think about when you say those dollar amounts, that goes a long way in allowing us to provide those things that we look for in every single home that we serve. So
think about it that way, that you can help somebody out with those things. So it's rebuildingtogetherdutchess.org, and you can go there, and like you said, it's right there on the site, so you can donate. And of course, there's the night of comedy. These guys, this should be really great.
Yeah, I'm
Plus,
excited
it's a
about
cool
that.
setting. It's not like you're in this big arena.
Right.
Like if you're in the room, like you're going to see and hear, you're right there.
Right.
You are right there, which to me, I always liked comedy in those settings. Like when I would go see a comedian and it was in a smaller club, I always felt like I really was part of the show.
Right.
Like I was right there.
Oh, and you might be part of the show.
Exactly. But I always liked that, Plus, I always felt that, they're working so hard. They have honed their craft.
They're amazing, really. They are.
Right? And they're putting themselves out there, and now they can actually see you and interact. I just think this would be a great night.
And at the Grandview, the cocktail reception is going to be
I know,
overlooking
how cool
the
is that?
Hudson. We have the beautiful fall colors. It's still going to be light out by the time we start.
Right.
So you'll be able to, take in that gorgeous view. We're just really excited about it. And we always have a lot of fun with this event. And we actually are taking the opportunity this year to recognize our 2 special volunteers. Every year we give a Volunteer of the Year award and we give a Tradesperson of the Year award. So this year, Larry Tyson, who's been with us for about 15 years, has been a house captain consistently every National Rebuilding Day for the last 6 years. He's phenomenal. He's our volunteer of the year this year.
Congratulations to him. That's beautiful.
And our tradesperson of the year is Bruce Peter with Just Exteriors Plus.
Okay.
He's been volunteering with us for the last 3 years, and he really has been phenomenal, stepped up to do projects with us on every rebuilding day since he's been engaged, and then some when we have things that don't get finished. Sometimes it happens where we can't deal with everything on that rebuilding day. Something else comes up, and we have to go back to the home. And he's been called on to do that for us, and has just been phenomenal for us.
I'm so happy that I always tell people, the whole idea of support local, take a look at businesses that are helping out organizations that you believe in.
Right.
I'm so happy that my electrician has worked with you guys, Veith Electric, and now Just Exteriors. That's who we called.
Oh, really?
To get our windows done. I mean, so
phenomenal.
I feel like, yes,
you are supporting our supporters, Beth.
And I like that.
I love it.
I like that. And I didn't even realize that one until you said it. I'm like, wait a second, I know those guys.
Yeah, and I said, you can go to our website if anybody's interested to see who our Toolbox supporters are, or those that are giving both financially and of their time are listed there. We've talked about some of those individuals before. Meyer Contracting's been a wonderful supporter. NS Supply we mentioned. We have our other Toolbox heroes, Cleveland Plumbing and Plast the Plumber, that came out and helped us for our fall rebuilding day, as well as Veith Electric does all the electric work in all of our projects. Yeah. I mean, it's just phenomenal. Yes. It's phenomenal and he's on our board, and he gives back in other ways as well. He's really been a tremendous supporter, and I have to thank our friend Chris Meyer for actually bringing him on our board.
Yeah.
So.
There's a lot of great folks. So like I said before, you talk about really helping people in your own community, and sometimes I think you can look at the world and be overwhelmed with all the things that need to be fixed. Mm-hmm. But really, if you just take one step at a time and you look at where you are, there are people and individuals that they're really putting their money where their mouth is. They're really helping out people in the community. In my opinion, that's where you go to look, to see, and call those folks to have your business there, because they will be there for you. Right. And that, I think, is very, very powerful.
Yeah, they've been phenomenal for us.
That's very powerful.
We can't thank them enough for their support, and they're the people that we call on are just, it's just amazing to see what people are willing to do for their community and their neighbors in need. And, so we can't thank them enough. We couldn't do what we do.
Right.
Like I mentioned, Plast the Plumber and Cleveland Plumbing, they came out, and Veith came out before our fall rebuilding day. They took care of everything we needed them to do.
Wow.
Before our volunteers came out on fall rebuilding day. So, and they donate all of their time. So, that is just as important as the other, the sponsors that bring their teams out the day of, that are sponsoring our program and providing us with their, with their employees, organizational members, whomever it may be. It doesn't just have to be a company. I think last time we were here, we talked about the wonderful support we've had from Hyde Park United Methodist, Pequag United Methodist, several Rotaries, Lions Club. This year we did Knights of Columbus of Hyde Park did a project with us. So it's not just companies that are supporting us and bringing out their teams. It's other civic organizations as well. So give me a call. We'll talk about it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, I'm looking, oh my gosh, we have 2 minutes left.
Oh, goodness.
The application, it's now year round, and they can go on the website and get that information.
It's on the website, rebuildingtogetherdutchess.org, or you can call the office 845-454-7310 to get the application. We do have a year round, but there is a cutoff to be considered for. So actually the end of this month, the end of October, is the cutoff to be considered for April. And then, so if you're listening to this and you need help, please act quickly. Please go there. And not everyone has access to the internet, and I understand that. And especially someone who potentially may have a disability, elderly, you're not sure, you don't know what they can. And if they're having electrical issues, they're probably not gotten a lot of stuff plugged in, so the phone is great to be able to contact. That's usually most of the way people call us. So Christina, now that we have, a minute and a half, any closing comments, thoughts this morning? No, I just thank you so much for your support, for having us and being able to just talk to people about the services we have here for homeowners in Dutchess County. And we're excited about Operation Remodel. We thank you for your support on that. And we hope people can come out for the comedy night on November 6th.
Yeah.
And they can purchase tickets by calling the office or going online.
Thank you.
Okay.
I forgot to ask that.
So you can go and see the event on our website page, rebuildingtogetherdutchess.org, or call our office 454-7310 to purchase tickets in advance.
All right, Christina, thank you so very, very much. And thanks to all of you. Remember that whatever station you're listening to this morning, go to their website. You can get information. We will have links to this interview. We'll actually post this interview and also have links to rebuildtogetherdutchess.org. Also have the phone number for you. Take care of yourself and those you love. If you want to be on the show, I'd love to have you. Give me a call, 845-471-1500. My extension is 159. You can email me, beth.christie@townsquaremedia.com. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. I forget. There's more. But do take care of yourself and those you love, and we'll see you right here next week.